Come on, Greg. Let's play the loop this time. Let's not mess this up. We did that yesterday. Oh, we're live. Hey, good morning. Welcome to the 5 a.m. Mester Scrum Show. I am talking to myself until yesterday. I forgot to play that little loop in the beginning of the little, what do you recall it? Anyway, my mind's just as messed up as it was yesterday. It's terrible. Good morning. Today, I was listening talk about whether or not you had the video on, and I have a picture in my thumbnail. Right? God, I can't really remember. I forget what a thumbnail is. We got the little phone here. So yesterday, working on the train museum stuff, which you hear from me, and you got the stuff in the back that's going to go in the train museum at some point in time. I picked up, this thing weighs a ton. Oh my God, this signal or old phone that they used to use on the railroad. Met a gentleman who worked on the signals and everything. That thing weighs a ton, by the way. It really does. The little hand part here weighs a couple pounds. I'm serious, it weighs a pound or two compared to what a new modern phone. So it's about mixing signals, and there were things he was telling me stories. I got to write these stories down. I might even try to interview him one day for the museum. Just ask him questions and see if he would be willing to video share his stories as a signal person along the Pennsylvania Railroad. But it was about mixed signals, and I thought about, and I had put in my notes. I wanted to talk about. There's a podcast called Metacast that I was listening to. I have a few podcasts out there, and Bob and Josh, and it's called Metacast. And they talk about agile and stuff. And in their podcast, they talked about whether or not leaving the camera on or not. And they were both kind of insistent. Well, I believe the camera should be on. And the way they came off was like, if I'm telling a Scrum Master, you need to tell your people that they need to have their camera on. That was what I was getting the impression of. But I think they're missing opportunity to properly facilitate and coach the team about camera on and off. And I want to go into that a little bit. I'm going to share a little bit of benefits and a little disadvantages about having cameras on during meetings. You could be like me and just have a bad hair day, right? It's a rough day to have the camera on. I got to get my hair cut. Or it could be anything, but we're going to talk about that a little bit. We're going to talk about the right way of introducing the concept of turning the camera on or off. It may be a corporate requirement, but let's talk about it a little bit because it's a great agile discussion about teams being self-motivated, self-organized, right? So let's talk about that a little bit. In this 5 a.m. Mester Scrum Show, I am Greg Mester, Scrum Master and Agile Coach. And here we talk about Scrum and Agile in a practical and tactical way. So you can bring more value to the customer, not work crazy hours to do that, and get home to family and friends and have a little fun. Maybe build a museum. Who knows? Got some free time. I really don't, but I want to do it. So what was going on in this conversation? So they were like, oh, should we have our camera on, camera off? And they were really adamant about having the camera on and how much benefit it is. And I agree in some ways. So we're going to do a plus minute. But there's a way to do it that is better than you as a Scrum Master or Agile Coach. You or manager, you have to have your camera. Why is your camera on? Right? That's a terrible, terrible way. So anti-agile, so anti-self-organizing that we all say. So it was kind of interesting hearing them. And I'm like, ooh, they missed a good one. Because they went straight into you have to do it. So I'm gonna talk about a technique. I'm gonna bounce around a little bit. Sorry about that because I'm not sure which one I want to do, the positive and negatives. But here's a technique. So I'm gonna walk it through and then I'm gonna do positive and negative. So when you have a situation for camera on, camera off for your team, how can you do it? You could tell them, right? But now you can also have a discussion, right? This is where you facilitate the discussion. This is where you really become a true Scrum Master and you earn your stripes as a coach or a Scrum Master. I can put a question out there. Okay, who thinks we should have the camera on during daily Scrum? Nobody puts your hand up, right? No one's going to do it. They don't want to. They don't want to have it up. Who do you think we should have a team norm that we should have our cameras on during our discussions? No one's going to put their hands up. No, they're not going to do it. Maybe a few. Can you just put your camera on and no one else does? And it shows that you're just trying to make them belittle the rest of the team. I'm telling you, that's what's going on. It's in the mental. So, what do? So, you have a discussion. You facilitate a meeting with your team on this particular topic. Now, we got an alarm going off here. So, you have this discussion. In this discussion, you say, look, some people want to have the cameras on, some don't. There's, and you can be honest with them. There's our discussions from up above about having cameras on and off. But I'd like to have a discussion of the positives and negatives of having the camera on or off. And I want everyone on the team to have that discussion, to have a real discussion, what makes sense. Just not, oh, I don't feel like it. Like, that's not an answer. Okay, we don't play that game. We are thinking people in a self-organizing team. So you have a discussion. Okay, team, put some positive, get a whiteboard up there, Miro, whatever, whiteboard on Zoom, and say, list some positive negatives, and don't you write them down. Again, that's not good follow facilitation. Have them put the stickies on there. It'll go much faster. Okay, list some positives. Okay, we'll spend 3 minutes. List positives having a video camera on. Okay, another 3 minutes. Let's list positives and not having the video camera on, right? Then to see the subtle difference between what are the negatives of having a video camera, what are the positive things about not having the camera on? So now you got two positive mentality thoughts. I can't even talk. Two positive. So you got positive for camera on, positive for camera off, right? Discuss it. Is the positives for being off outweighing the positive for being on? Maybe. Okay. Now, one of the things a Scrum Master could do, if you take the facilitation classes and all that from IC Agile or the coaching classes, they give a lot of information. And I think even in the Scrum classes, the dynamics of visual communication and being on the right signal and not mixing signals up. Because if I type things, you can misunderstand what I type. Or if you don't see me like, I'm really happy, this is awesome, you can tell whether I'm happy or, what are we, am I being sarcastic with the visual signals? So there's all those benefits. So you could do an introduction on that topic. You can provide a little write-up, a 1-page thing or a 2-page thing. It doesn't have to be very long. The positive negatives, the data behind that gives some education to the team. So now you're teaching a little bit. So you can do that beforehand, but then you can go to debate. It depends, but it might be good to have that discussion if you really think it's really important. So let's talk about, so that's how you introduce it. You have a discussion, and they didn't do that. They were just like, I'm going to tell them what to do. I'm like, no, that isn't what you do. And it's really sad because they're very expert, very good agile coaches. But in this one thing, it's like, this is the way I think it should be done. Wrong attitude, right? So we talked about it. Maybe do a little introduction on different aspects of communications. You should all have that information from taking classes about Scrum, Agile, IC Agile. They all talk about that communication and what the visual gives you. All right. So now let's see what some of the positives that aren't quite a little bit of positive visuals. I'm going to be very practical and tactical. Positive visuals. I see how you're doing. Are you sad? Are you awake? Are you not focused? Right? I can tell that if you're not on here, you're multitasking. Oh, I'm not paying attention. Oh, I'm looking at my phone. You can see what people are doing. Are they looking at their phone? Are they, hopefully not in the bathroom? Please don't go to your videos while you're in the bathroom. Been there. I actually heard something like those. I'm like, oh my God, where are you? I think he was pouring stuff in the water in the sink. I hope. So the positives are that you're engaged. You can see they're engaged. You get a visual check. You haven't seen them in a while. It's nice to see. So you can go through all the positives. Some of the negatives. Now, some of the COVID stuff that was negative, and I hope I don't get flagged for using the word I just did. I wish I would stop that. So, because we got to be practical and move on and be realistic here. So one of the things, like in schools, kids would be at their schools. And the reason why they didn't have it was they were home. the other siblings of their house. In the inner city, houses sometimes aren't that nice. They're not fancy, right? Kids are there running around. You got your little brothers and sisters. It was very hard to put it on visual, right? You got your kids running around, and you didn't do the visual. Got it. That's kind of over now, right? Kids are back in school, things like that. So there were reasons why they don't want you to see that they don't have anything. So part of the safety is maybe they don't have things. They feel like they won't look as good. The beauty of it is you got blurring capability now that we didn't have when we did that. So how can you so you can do, what are the positives of that? What are the positives? And one of the positives, something like, well, I can multitask during a meeting. Well, that's not what we want. We don't want you multitasking during a meeting. So that's kind of where you can go. What's positive multitasking? Oh, we want you to focus so we can get this and then what were the well, we want you to focus so we're not having an hour-long meeting. We want to cut it down to like a half-hour, 15-minute meeting and have everybody in the room focus on stuff and come up with stuff. That's why we do it. We don't want an hour-long meeting. We want 15 minutes. And you can also say your goal as a Scrum Master, I think this meeting can be 15 minutes long. Problem is, we're all multitasking on 50 million things. So now it's an hour-long meeting. My goal as Scrum Master is to reduce time and give that time so you can work on what you do for your craft, right? So you can do that too. So that's what the things. And then the last part, some of the negatives, you can counteract it. Like I said, how can we fix these negatives or these pauses for not being on video? What would be good? Like blurring. We're okay with blurring. Does everyone have that capability? Do we need you to send you a picture? I don't know. What if we can do different things that would entice it? So then you can come up with ways we can mitigate those positives for not being on video. So that's what those guys didn't do. This is an opportunity to show your stuff as a Scrum Master, as a coach, rather than dictating what to do, because it's the fastest way to go and it just pisses everyone off and proves that you don't know nothing about self-organization, okay? And you can go do that. So I wanted to share that with you as a thought process of how to really coach it. And they don't teach this stuff. They say, just do it. And I go, well, that kind of defeats the purpose, right? Make them think, understand, and they practice it so they preach it to other people. Now, one of the things I would add is that should be part of your team norms. And here's his job as Scrum Master that people don't do. Your job as Scrum Master, if you're going to invite stakeholders into the meeting and people outside that are not normally there, you as Scrum Master have to go introduce yourself to these stakeholders and let them know your rules as an organization. Just to let you know, our team puts everything on video. Your job as Scrum Master is to go out there. Don't let other people just show up and not put their face on video when you're having a meeting with them. Okay? It's not, oh, they didn't do it. They were just terrible. No, your job as Scrum Master is to make sure those people out there are putting themselves on video. So that's my little thing on the video and the mixing of the signals. I will show more stuff that I got. I got some neat stuff the other day on the holiday and picked it up from a retired gentleman who worked in all the different railroads. So it was pretty cool. It was a great win. And that thing weighs a ton. I got to pick up a weight. I'm going to try to figure out how much it weighs, but it weighs a lot. It's freaking heavy. Anyway, I want to wish you all the best. I hope that helps everyone with the discussion, whether or not video should be on or off. And remember, it's not your job to tell them what to do. Your job is to facilitate the discussion so that your team can grow as individuals and as a group and understand where they're at and be able to go out and champion why they do the things they do. So with that, say, have a great day. Happy Scrumming. All right. See ya. Take care and enjoy your day. Oh, don't forget, job report tonight. It's Tuesday night. We do the job report. So I'll talk about that too. I got lots of other stuff. And Monday's now Metrics Monday. So we do metrics on Monday. And don't forget about our Slack channel. Check it out. More stuff's coming. The OKR mastermind group. I really enjoy it. I think you will too. I think it's a good thing. I think I got it honed in to where it needs to be. All right. Take care. Enjoy. See ya.